Thanks for joining me for this fifth in the series 2 of Tips for Coaches. We spoke last time about emotion, and this time I'd like, if I might, to talk about ego. Now, it may be worth explaining with this, and I'm feeling my way through this. If it's a bit clumsy, I apologise now. The whole business of presenting, of training, of producing videos, for example, demands something is happening. There is some ego around, or at least one would expect there to be something there. But it's sort of contrary to what we want from a coach, because the ego is likely to create in us the need to perform rather than to listen and to facilitate. So I can share with you some of my emotions around this, as I feel quite tired actually. I've done a number of these video sessions today, and you're not there. I mean, you're listening to this video, but you're not here with me, and that's the piece for me which is very, very much missing. I would really love you to be here now, so that I wouldn't have to feel my way through this. I'd be able to look at you, I'd be able to notice you, I'd be able to get a sense of whether you were bored or not, whether you were captivated or not, whether there was some area that was of interest, and I could then ask you a question, and then we'd move into a particular direction, rather than perhaps having a script, which would be the way that maybe a lot of people would undertake this sort of role in a very professional sense. But I guess that's one of the reasons that I wanted to try and do these in one cut, without any rehearsal and without an auto cue. It's because that ego piece shouldn't be there, and I don't want it to be visible or part of what I'm doing for you, even though I'm not coaching you at the moment. Because that coaching mindset of mine is in most, not all contexts, but in most contexts, is not present. It is in some. I mean, I'm not somebody who doesn't have an ego. I don't think that exists. I don't think it would probably move without some sort of ego. But it's very largely not present in lots of context. And I guess if we think back to the conversations that we had about mindsets, maybe it's about understanding that as human beings we do have a range of potential. We are like an orchestra. We have a first violinist. We have our violins and our cellos and our violas. We have means of harnessing and using elements of self, elements of our personality, and choosing, if we can, various elements of that, rather than just going through the world reacting to things, getting angry about things, getting egotistical and bombastic about things. We can play the tunes, if you like, with that orchestra. And that's, I guess, at the heart of the conversation that's a conversation I was having with myself here, and I hope for you, is the sense in mind setting that we're not trying to do something artificial. It's an authentic set of sound, an authentic set of instruments that we can put together in terms of a mindset. I don't see ego as being useful as a coach, and to offer you something else, again quite an intimate perhaps expression, I see myself as a coach. I've mentioned the word servant leadership before, but really a vessel, almost an empty vessel, a facilitating empty vessel, present, and I've used this expression before, in the presence of genius, because one's coach here, if you will only let them experience, if you only ask those questions which are designed for them, if you only assist them to reach new levels of psychological state, learning state, which are useful to them and are new for them to new levels, then something magical can and does happen. And I don't think, well, I can't certainly do it, but other people may be able to do it. I don't think one can do that really well from an ego state. And there are plenty of people out there calling themselves coaches and coaching from that ego state. But I'm sure as hell feel that it is not as effective as being humble and being a servant of being an empty, present, facilitating vessel in the presence of the genius of the coachee. Well, that's my expression today. I hope not over much in the way of a sense of my emotion and my feeling about coaching and ego, but I wanted through all of this series and both these series to really to present myself as who I am, not an invention, not an unauthentic something, and to be honest with myself, with you, and with this bloody camera.